So I want to show this one we're going to do. It's going to be kind of long, but it's something that we've been working on. It's 4th of July week, and we've been working with Ellie and all the dogs here, but Spry and Taylor. But one of the things we've been working on is lots of water work. It's been warm. We've gotten great exercise on the water, but I've also got a really nice setting here that I want to show you. A setup that I've done, and I've worked towards it all week. So we've been doing some trailing memories in an area. This is going to take a bunch of different trailing memories, tie it into a big circle memory. So I want to show you, this is just an example of all week I've kind of looked at trying to get to this point. Now it's the end of the week and we're going to go home, but I want to show you. So I drew it out here. I'm going to try to show you it. So this, I'm going to move Ellie back for me, would you? So this is just like an overhead view of this. So we're standing right here. This is a driveway. So it's a driveway in, and it's just a big loop driveway. This is the main road out at our place. So this line here designates a marsh. It's all wet in here. It's a big bog. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start here. We're going to set this up as a circle memory. There's number 1, number 2, and number 3. Those are the 3 bumpers that we're going to have. This chunk of woods right here, see how I left this kind of, my little design was, this is thick. This is like planted pines. So it's relatively, it's right here. So it's thick, but it's open because it's planted pines. This is thick with undergrowth and a lot of different trees, and it's just real thick. But what we're going to do is I'm going to start here, and my objective is to do a big circle memory. This total woods here is probably about maybe 2 to 3 acres. So the distance for these retrieves is a couple hundred yards. But here's how I'm going to set it up. Mason's going to follow me along when I do this. But we're going to start down this driveway. We're going to pitch a bumper into here. We're actually going to pitch it from dry land across water onto dry land. There's like a little island out here. That's number 1. And we're going to keep continuing. Now these rocks are spots where I'm going to send the dogs from. So we're going to walk this loop. We're going to cut across here. We're going to pitch a bumper number 2. This is kind of a front yard down by the road. Then what I'm going to do is continue on the driveway, walk around here. I'm going to pitch bumper number 3, which is in a yard kind of. And then I'm going to circle back around, and then I'm going to come to this spot here. This is going to be where I'm going to send the dog. I'm going to send the dog for number 2. So the temptation is there's a bumper here and a bumper here that she has in her memory. She's got to work through the middle of them and pick this. It's the longest one, it's the thickest one, and it's got temptation on left and right. She makes this retrieve and comes back to me. Then I'm going to continue on to my circle to this spot, and I'm going to send her on this retrieve. So she's going to have to cut across that pine plantation, make the retrieve, come back. Then I'm going to continue to walk. I'm going to make it to this spot, and I'm going to send her back across that pine plantation, across the road, across the water, up onto the island, and that'll be her 3rd final retrieve. So it's going to take me a little while to set this whole thing up, but that gives you an overview. So I'm going to give it to Mace. Ellie. So we're going to start out, we're starting out about right here. We're going to work our way around, come back to that center spot, and kind of in the center hub, and send the dog through the middle. So we'll set this up, you can follow along, and we'll see if she does it. Now, I haven't done this as a circle memory yet. I did it yesterday after we did trailing memories. So I set it up a little bit better yesterday. This is going to be a test to her memory from yesterday. So Ellie, heel. Ellie, heel. Yesterday she got to the 3rd one. She did the first one, the second one really well. The 3rd one, she ended up, I had to handle her a little bit to get her across that water. Heel. So today I'm hoping she takes the water herself. So you can see this driveway starts to cut back. Macy can show that these are just like planted rows of pine. This is that bog area on this side. Now the other thing I did yesterday was, bring that here, Mace. Shine it right there so you can see that tape on that tree. Can you see the tape on that tree? Mm-hmm. So you can see that tape right there. I use that for my line. So it's a straight line to where I'm going to put it into the water, so you can turn around here. So this is our first bumper. You can see there's water there. I'm going to make sure I get it across the water and onto a little bit of a dry island over there. You can hear it landed on the island. So for her, she's going to have to come across these pines, across this little bit of cover, across the water and back onto dry land. Yeah. So there's her first one. Here's the X. This is one of those rocks in my little sketch. So if you stand right here, Mason, and you shine it back, come over to this side a little bit, you'll see that ribbon. See the ribbon? Mm-hmm. Right there. So you see the ribbon, that's my line to number 2. So I marked this with a spot yesterday, Theo, when I made my loop. And the reason I knew that was because yesterday I did them as trailing memories. So I used that marked tree as a point of reference. I send the dog through that ribbon on both of those retrieves. This is where it gets kind of thick at the end of this point. But I like the way the shape of this woods is. It funnels to this spot. So I'm going to put a bumper up there. But when I line the dog, it's helping to funnel her through the stuff, through the thick stuff. It's going to help her make that successful. Here's where I'm going to put the second bumper. Now, I'm using the hide wrapped bumper because we're doing a lot of tracking with this dog, and this is usually what she finds at the end of a trail, but it's also real high reward. It's got a lot of scent to it. So this one is going to be the most difficult retrieve for her because she's got to run past 2 other retrieves through a lot of thick stuff, and it's by far the longest distance. So the highest reward is going to be on this one. So I pitch it in the yard and leave it. I'd really like to push it across the road and send her across the road as another barrier, but I don't want, the traffic on this road there's enough of it that I don't want to send a dog across the road. But if I had my way and there was no traffic, I'd put it on the other side, because then she's got to go another barrier, but we don't have that, so that's fine. Now I finish out back up around this loop driveway. And this is something that we've worked on this week while we're up here. To this side is a big chunk of woods with a big hill on it, big elevation change. It's about 10 acres of woods. If I were here for another week and we did this successfully, my next thing would be I set the similar drill up around a 10-acre chunk of woods. So that would be a progressional next step for me. This is the spot that I marked with an X that I'll look through that woods, that pines, and I can see the ribbon. So to send her on the right line, I'd send her down towards that ribbon. So that's why I use that. I'm using that as a reference to send her on the line. So we don't put a bumper here. My next bumper is down here, but that's a spot that I'll send her on the last retrieve, which will be for the first one that we put out. That's the one she struggled with a little bit yesterday. She ended up getting it. I had to handle her to it, which was fine because she took the handle real well. So this will be the first retrieve, or the second retrieve she made. So I take it, I pitch it across the road. It's a real easy find, it's not a hard find. But when I stand here, I can see my pink ribbon. So that pink ribbon through those pines is in line with, the X on the other driveway. So, and the reason I know that is because when I walked this yesterday, I did it as a trailing memory. So I walked there, I stood on that spot, I walked over here, dropped a bumper, and walked back. And I know that that pink ribbon's right in line with it. So now I finish out my circle. So we just set a circle memory. Now I come back to finish that circle out, and then I'm going to go where that rock was in the middle. So I'm going to help her by starting out just into the woods. There's a spot here. This log right here is where I walked this trailing memory. Yesterday I set this trailing memory up. So I pitched that bumper, I walked a straight line through the thick stuff to this spot, and then I sent her on it. So now you can see she's poised, she's ready to go for this line. I'm going to line her through the middle, use the funnel effect of the woods to help me, resist the temptation, work straight through and straight back. This will be retrieve number 1. It's the bumper number 2 that we put out. So I gotta make, the line is real important. See how she's lined to the right? She's gonna go to that first one if I line her right now. I gotta get her lined better. Come on. Good. She faded. Come on. Good. So I stopped her because she was going to pick that first one. Come on, here. I need to cheat her over. Come on, here. Not the vest line. She faded that way, but I started her that way. She's going to pick that. I'm sure she's going to pick that bumper. She didn't take it through the cover the way I exactly want her to. That will be something I'll work on with her. Remember, this is the hide wrapped bumper. Good. So her line wasn't great. Good. Hold. The result was fine. Hold. Here. Dead. That's the number 2 bumper that we put out down at the road. Her line wasn't the best. That's okay. I'm not going to be. I had to stop her and correct her once. That's okay. We're working towards it. So I'm not completely satisfied. I wouldn't go on. I'd continue to do. Remember, this is the second time we've done it. It's only the second time we've done this set. And the first time, I did it immediately following trailing memories. Heel. So this is really the first time we're doing it as a true circle. So we're going to find as much success as we can, and then I would build on that. Now we've made the full loop. Now we're coming back to where that water was, where that first bumper got through. And I'm going to send her back to the 3rd bumper. This one would probably be the easiest of the 3. now I look for that X, my spot that I marked, and I look for my marker on the tree, which is right there, and I line those up, and I'll be able to send her on a good line to that second one. This is why it's important to mark your spot. I might have stopped here and lined it, and now all of a sudden she's off by 50 yards. So here's my X. Now I look, and my pink marker is right here. So now I know my line. If I hadn't marked this exact same spot, if I was 5 feet over and I saw the pink marker, my angle by the time I get to where the bumper is would be off 50 yards. So that's why when we set these up, I want to know exactly where to send the dog from, and I want to know exactly where the bumper is going to be, so I can get it. And then I use that to help me in the middle. Come here. So now I get a good line on it. You can see her nose to her tail lines right up with that pink ribbon. Hopefully you can see that ribbon, because she just went to 2 trees over. She took a nice line to it. This one should be easy for her. The next one will be tough because the longest amount of time has passed. Plus she has to crest a hill and be out of sight. Plus she's got to cross a road, water, land. So lots of challenges. Here's this one. Very good. That was nice and easy. Good. Right here. Hold. Hold. Good. Hold. Did. Now, number 2 was easy. Number 1, we got through. Number 2 was easy. Number 3 is going to be tough because we got to walk this whole loop yet and come back to it. It's a lot of time to pass for her. And she hasn't gone across that water since yesterday. So now she's going to have to trust her memory of, she's got to go land, water, land, and back. And it's a pretty good push, through pretty good cover, at a pretty good distance without seeing me or visually. Yesterday, she hunted short, came back to me, I gave her a back cast, pushed her over to the edge of the water, heel, pushed her to the edge of the water, had to back cast her again. She went through the water, made the pick. The other thing you can see is she's getting hot. Plenty warm out today. After this, I'll have her right in the water. Ideally, I'd have had this done much earlier in the day. It's not super hot here, but it's warm enough to make it hard on her nose. So she's going to breathe through her mouth to cool down. So these, by walking to the next one, putting some time, giving her a chance to catch her breath a little bit too, is going to help. It's going to make it harder because we're adding time. We're adding a lot of distance. So now we just made the loop again. Heel. I'm actually slowing down a little bit. She's in the shade, letting her kind of refocus, regroup before we go to this third one. And these are kind of boring videos because they're real time. But this is how long it would take me to do this exercise. Now I go and I'm coming back up in to find that X that I can line to the pink tape, which will line straight to that first bumper we put out across the water. And we'll see how strong her memory is. I think she can do it. I know she can do it. I'm hoping she'll take it. If she doesn't and I have to help her out, I will. I had to help her out yesterday. Might have to help her out again today. But you help them out enough times, then they get it. And then once they get it, then I go, now we can go on to the next thing. Come on, here. Come on. Now, you see my ribbon right here? See it right here? See that ribbon? So that's my line. Here. So I need to get her focused. How she moves nice to adjust. Can you see that? Now, the question will be, does she cross and go into the water? My concern is I haven't heard the water yet. I want to sneak up there. Come with me, Mason. Sneak up. She should have hit the water by now. I do see some waves there, though. I don't see her. I don't see her, so she might be in the marsh right now. Here, she made a big loop. Here. Here. So she did not find it. Here. Here. She was in the water. Now I'm gonna have to handle her. Get out. Get back. There, she took it. You see her in the water? So now I'm gonna scooch back because she's taking that line now. I'm gonna get back to our original spot.
She hopped out. She hopped out, just coming back. Oh, she went back in over there.
Yeah, she'll find it. She's gonna work her nose now. She's right in this spot. She's right in there now.
Mm-hmm.
Get back! So she's really struggling on this one. She's right in the area now. She should be right about on it. Yeah, she's off. She's working, but she's... Get back! No! Okay, move up here, mate. Here. 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 So I'm just gonna I'm resetting this now. Here. Sit. So she's worked where she should have found it. She hasn't. So it tells me she's really not working her nose much. So I'm resetting this, letting her kind of get back, and I'm going to line her right for it. I'm not going to let her hunt. I'm not going to let her fade. I'm going to get her right on the line, because I got to try to salvage this whole exercise right now. Ellie. Get back. Good. Good. There's the... Get back. That's right where she needs to be. She wants to go right, and she shouldn't. There, you got it. Now head back. Now I want to get back to that original spot and finish this with her understanding that. Good. Good. Good girl. Very good. Hold. Hold. Good. Good girl. Here. Hold. Dig. So that got a little messy at the end. It tells me that we can do this over. We can do this over. We can do this over until we get it right. The nice part about it was we salvaged it. She found it. She got it. Had to handle her to it. Had to help her to it. The nice part about it is I think when she was real close to it, sit down several times and probably didn't pick it up. So the thing that it tells me is I need to work on, she's taking nice lines. She's trusting that pretty good. I need to work on this dog hunting an area better and using her nose more. It's something that stood out now for the last week or so. So we need to do that. I ran into some issues with hangers with her. She wouldn't stick in an area and hunt with her nose that well. So that's the fix. That's the thing I need to work on. Small hunt drills with her, but I could reset this again and it would get better, and then it would get better, and eventually I'd have it. Once I have it, then I move on to the next. So I just finished this out with a heel, and now I've got my 3-part circle memory. We got muddy in the middle of it, or towards the end of it, but we got it. We got through it and figured it out. So all in all, success, but had to reset. So that's a more advanced circle memory, a little bit bigger scaled circle memory, and lessons learned on it, things that we got to work on. So